Hello, everyone. Mr. Jones here with another weekly update for you, covering the packets that I'm going to be sending out this week for you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you got a chance to sit and listen to some music that you enjoy. That was your challenge from last week. And I hope that you kind of took some time to think about it, think of maybe some other songs that you might like. Hope everybody is doing well, everybody's happy, healthy, and just finding some way to entertain themselves. This week, for your packet, I've got some interesting stuff in there. I'm very excited about this week's lesson stuff because we are doing some reading about crime. A plot driver for all kinds of movies, all kinds of books, short stories. I've got a series of short stories here, some of which you may have heard of, some of which you might not have heard of, but they're all around that recurring theme of crime and criminals and things like that. So for this week's reading, the first story that you're going to have in your packet is a Sherlock Holmes story. I'm sure that you've heard of Sherlock Holmes, the great investigator. And it is called A Scandal in Bohemia. It is the first short story featuring Sherlock Holmes. So this is the early times of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who's the author, his characters. This is an interesting one where they introduce a lot of the characters and give a lot of the background stuff into Sherlock Holmes' methods and things like that. The second story in your packet is going to be called The Most Dangerous Game. That is another very well-known one by an author named Richard Connell. It is about a man who ends up on an island where there is an eccentric hunter who's looking to hunt the most dangerous game. It's a really interesting one to read through, and it's really influential in a lot of cultural representation, stuff like that. You may have even heard of this one. After that is my personal favorite crime story. It's called The Catbird Seat by James Thurber. It is about a kind of neat, nerdy, kind of meek man named Irwin who has to consider a life of crime following someone coming in to rearrange his office and rearrange the way that he does things at work, which he's a very straightforward kind of guy, so he's not a big fan of that. And that's one that I really enjoy. After that, there is a story by Shirley Jackson, who also wrote The Lottery, which we read in class. This is another story by her called Trial by Combat. It's a little bit shorter, a little bit less to digest than The Lottery was, but it's still interesting. It goes into a woman who keeps having things stolen from her house, and so she goes about trying to confront the thief. And then the last article in your packet is going to be After 20 Years by an author called O. Henry. He is well known for his twists and turns and kind of his kind of interesting things that he does with his stories. It's a really short one, but in that time he manages to get a full story in. So I want you to pay attention to that. In 4 pages, he tells an entire story of essentially 2 people's lives where you kind of get to know them throughout it. And that's a really good one. I hope you guys really enjoy that story. For writing this week, you will have your regular dictionary activity, then a flow chart for this week. And what I would challenge you to do with your flow chart, since it's going to be something happens, then something follows it up, in keeping with our theme of crime for the stories that we're reading, I want you to come up with a heist. I don't know if you've ever seen like a heist movie where there's a big bank robbery or a big casino heist, something like that, the big fancy stuff. You need to come up with your crew, need to come up with what you're stealing, and need to come up with what your plan would be. And my challenge is to try and come up with some kind of twist for your story. I look forward to seeing what you guys can come up with. You are, of course, welcome if you can't think of anything for that. If you have an alternate writing subject, just let me know, and I'm happy to accommodate that. Because some of our readings this week are a little bit longer, you're not going to have a writing warm-up this week. So there will be just the stories that you need to read and then come up with your heist story, and that's what you'll be working on for writing. There will be an experiment coming out later this week for you guys to watch. So keep an eye out for that on Thursday. I believe it should come out. It should be here and on Facebook. Then additionally, your social skills challenge for this week is I want you to go outside at some point and point out 4 things that you find either interesting or beautiful or that you hadn't noticed before. This can be things while you're out on a walk, in case you find like a bird that you haven't seen before, or just going outside into your backyard and thinking, oh, well, I see a tree that's shaped like something cool or something like that. You could even go cloud watching, anything. Just go outside, enjoy what's outside, and just take a second to take in what you enjoy in the area. Other than that, it should be pretty straightforward on everything in the packet. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, always feel free to let me know. Contact me on Discord, Skype, email. We can even arrange a phone call. Whatever you guys need, just let me know. I look forward to hearing from you. Hope you all have a wonderful week. And yeah, look forward to seeing what you guys do with the work that I'm sending out. So let me know if you need anything.